Hey guys, hope you're all well. Welcome back. So on today's episode we have got a brand new box fresh Forbidden Dreadnaught that we're going to be running you through and showing you the spec. Let's take a closer look. So here we have it, fresh in. We got the Forbidden Dreadnaught. So this bike is a 154 rear end and then it's 170, so it's a big burly enduro bike. Got the top idler on it with a high pivot linkage, so completely different, completely unique. And then this one is the Ziggy Link, so that is 650 on the rear and then 29 up front, so mullet. But with what Forbidden do, they use a Ziggy Link, so you can get this bike in a full 29er, or you put the Ziggy Link in it and then it just keeps all the geometry the same, so you can have that 27.5 inch on the rear and then that 29 up front, with keeping the whole geometry how they've designed the ergonomics around this bike. So this build is the GX build, which will come in this colourway, which is full stealth, nice little detailing on the top tube, and then it's got that white Forbidden logo and then the decals on the forks to match. This bike comes in at 6699, so that's a full GX build, GX mechanical, Ziggy Link on the back, so this one is mullet from Box Fresh, and then we're going to run you through the spec now. So this build is Box Fresh, so this is out of the box as you would see it, unreal spec for the price. We've got full GX group set, SRAM code RSC brakes on it, and they've just every finer detail down to tyres up to suspension they haven't scrimped on. So this build, it comes with the Float X2 on the rear, and that, like I said before, that is a 154 rear end. With the high pivot, it does feel like you're running more travel. So in theory, it's an extra 20% on that travel. So it's got big, meaty rear end, and then it's got the front aggressive 170s to match. So they are performance elites up front, 38s, and then yeah, like I say, that X2 on the rear. Full GX. Bike yoke dropper, 350 hubs on the not race face, sorry, I'm used to saying that with Santa Cruzes, with the E13 rims, so it's a good solid wheel set on it. This one, 29 up front, 650 on the rear, fully tubeless. We've got a nice burly setup on the tyres. We've got the Assegai up front, which is the EXO casing, and then the double down DHR Minion on the rear. So a real suitable tyre choice for this particular bike. For the stopping power, we've got SRAM brakes, so we've got the SRAM code RSC brakes, 200mm front and rear rotor, so that's plenty of stopping power. My personal experience was running SRAM brakes. Prior to running this particular model, I was never a fan of SRAM, but I think with the new RSCs and the top line SRAM brakes now are pretty up there and unbeatable. So yeah, mega brake and stopping power on this build. Box fresh, so you don't have to fanny around, changing brakes out, anything like that. It's just a bike that you can get out of the box, hit your local trails up and then tear around them and have that full confidence from wheels to brakes, everything you need, suspension setup wise. It's just a mega bike that's absolutely on point. So here we have it, the magic that is the high pivot witchcraft. Forbidden's special and unique pivot point and linkage. So what you will see here is, if we look at the chain, how it has got this crazy chain system in like a square effect. It's got a top idle, so a nice high pivot. And this is why the Forbiddens are so unique. So what they've done is bringing that pivot point higher, it allows more leverage. So in theory, rather when the shock gets compressed, rather than the bike getting shorter and compressed, it gets longer. So you pop that up there, and in theory, what it's doing is that. So the bike and the wheelbase is getting longer, giving you more stability and traction. So if I compress the shock, what you'll see is the wheelbase is in theory growing, so rather than getting shorter, it is getting longer. Just to go over the high pivot on this bike, how it works is with that idle being so high and that pivot point being higher than any other bike, I'll show you like with these, our tennis table rackets. So obviously the lower the compression, the less movement it's got, but if you bring that high pivot point to a higher point, so your lever ratio is a lot longer and has more room to spread, then you can obviously get the wheelbase, which is in theory doing that, and getting longer, which gives you more stability, more control when it gets rough and techy and wide open. So in my personal opinion, I think this linkage is one of the grippiest out there. I had the same bike as this, but I had it with a push shocking, and it was just absolutely planted. You just couldn't get the thing off the ground. It was that fast. And if you're looking for a bike that you just want to stick and chase them PBs, the Dready is absolutely the bike of choice. Discipline wise, I rode mine on at some local, but I think if I was to have this as one bike, I would go for the Druid. Druid's just a little bit shorter, that's a 130 on the rear, so in theory with a high pivot it's more like a 150 bike through and through. And yeah, that's for the all-round trail bike, that is unbelievable. But if you're hitting up the bike parks and you want to get gnarly, then the Dreadnaught it's absolutely unbelievable. We've got customers that have got this bike and they're racing on it, and they're beating the PBs, they're smashing all the races and just having so much fun on it. You can get the Dreadnaught in frame only, or you can get the full build. The full builds start at an SLX build, which the SLX build come in at 5549. Same again, unbelievable price point for the spec you get, which we'll do a later video on that particular bike. And then there's the GX one, which is this one at 6699, and then the next one above that is the XT build that comes in at 6799. So on the XT you will get that as a full 29er. This particular build, the Moto, is a MX, so you'll get the Ziggy link on the back, and then the SLX build is the 29er as well. If you wanted to do a custom, you can fine tune the spec, so you can swap out your different shock options in the back. But yeah, if you are in the market for one, just give us a shout and we'll talk you through the process. So there you have it, that is the Forbidden Dreadnaught. Hope you've enjoyed the video. If you've got any questions whatsoever, please do drop us a line in the comments. Thank you all for watching, really appreciate it. Please do share, like, turn on your notifications and subscribe to our YouTube channel, that would be really much appreciated. If you want to see any content, if there's anything you want to see, any reviews, Santa Cruz Forbidden, Yeti, any bikes like that, or just specific brands, Bergtech, if there's anything you want to see more of on our channel, obviously we do it for you guys, so just let us know in the comments what you want to see more of. Cheers for watching guys, take it easy and we'll see you in the next one.